magic for a good blast here at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion,
the Star Wars podcast, episode 102. This episode, one of us has gone to Galaxy's Edge, and then all there is to talk about is rumors at this point. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Again.
Guess which one of us went to Galaxy's Edge?
It was me.
I think if anyone has listened to the show for more than a few episodes, that's an easy guess to make.
Probably. So, most people going to Galaxy's Edge for the first time would probably just like plan the day and be there. I happened to be going to studios with my family and therefore was only in Galaxy's Edge for a few hours.
Okay.
So
unfortunate.
I did not ride the ride. And I only got to experience about 3/4 or half of it.
Okay.
It is way bigger.
How many hours were you there total? 3?
In Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah.
Probably 3.
3. Okay. And you only got to visit around 3/4 of it, you'd say.
And like part of that was
I'd say probably
part
half
of that was sitting down and eating a meal in the docking bay too.
Okay. I'd say probably half if you didn't do Smuggler's Run then. Probably only half, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. So it's huge.
It is way bigger than I expected.
Okay.
Even looking at maps, you're like, oh, there's just a bunch of buildings and like some pathways in between.
What a way to describe a theme park.
Yeah. A bunch of buildings and pathways. Where's the theming?
That's such a dad way to think about everything. Why would I pay for a theme park? It's just a bunch of buildings and pathways.
I can build that in the yard.
Come on.
You get started on the pathways. No, but I mean, looking from the maps, it obviously those theme park maps make it look small, but
well, it has to fit on a map.
It does have to fit on the map. It is not to scale, surprisingly.
What? This theme park is so small. How did they fit it on this paper?
But it's just a very large. There's a lot of large open areas too, which I at least from looking at the maps and looking at pictures, I didn't really expect that.
It's hard for me to picture how big it is because, the only things we see are the scenic shots, which are usually up against not a wall, but there's a like you're taking a picture of the Falcon, which is pointed towards a back area that
that's where like the main buildings and the main
or pointed up at the spires
areas.
And that the trading corridor.
Right. There's two entrances to the area of the park. And you've probably seen pictures of it, but like when you walk into the park, it's basically a tunnel. It almost looks like you're entering a subway tunnel, at least from one side. It looks like subway tiles on the wall that eventually turns to rock and stone, and then you're basically just in this cave type entrance.
Yeah.
That then opens up into Galaxy's Edge, but it's still all you can really see is the spires at that point.
Okay.
And maybe some of the buildings, but there's like an X-wing parked over here and an A-wing parked over here. And with droid sounds and sparks like they're being worked on and stuff.
Nice.
And that whole area over by Rise of the Resistance, there's not much over there, and they actually had cast members standing at the front of the ride of Rise of the Resistance at the entrance and exits to make sure no one was trying to go in there.
Oh wow.
So there was just like 4 people just standing at Rise of Resistance.
So all that
as
is
their job.
All the queue and everything's probably finished. It's just the inside.
Yeah, the whole
of the
outside
ride.
area is there, and it doesn't look like there's a ride back there at all.
Oh,
you can barely tell. Like it took me a minute to figure out that was the entrance to a ride.
Wow.
Because literally all you see is basically like a cave, or like a mountain wall in the background, and a lot of trees and a lot of just forest and stuff. So it is a hidden base.
Right.
You really can't tell it's there.
Wow.
Which is really cool. And so you walk past all this and kind of around a corner, and then you see the Black Spire Market entrance, and once you walk past all that stuff, and then you're kind of at the top of these stairs that's looking down to the Falcon parked in that big open area, and it's gorgeous.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't get to go into Doc Ondar's. Didn't go to the cantina.
Didn't go to Oga's. The
cantina
is
the reservations for the cantina are still like booked for months.
Yeah, right.
You kind of have to just find a random opening and go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the that whole side of the area over by Smuggler's Run and Dock Ondars and everything else to, I guess when you're looking at the map, it's like to the right. I didn't really go to. We really just went into Docking Bay 7, which is food, and then the whole market, which is where all those stores and shops, all the little, basically stalls of shops are.
Yeah.
With all the cool merchandise, and I wanted to buy one of everything. I did see Vi Marati walking around near the entrance near Rise of the Resistance. I saw her walking around, and she would she walked up to some park goer and started telling him something about something, and then just kind of nodded to him and then walked off, whispering secrets. And then one point I saw Rey as well walking through, and I saw Chewbacca walking around as well at one point.
No Kylo, First Order, any of that stuff?
I did not see Kylo or the First Order at any point while I was walking through. I heard people talking about him, like cast members and stuff, talking about him.
Oh, really?
To people or to other people. Because, again, everyone's in character.
Yeah.
But just being there, I was, like we've talked about before, it's a theme park. It's Disney.
Right.
Obviously, I had a stroller, not for me, for my child. I had a stroller with me. Other people had strollers, right? It's still park goers. But there's so much going on and so much theming from the cast members to the characters and all of that, where you kind of just forget about it.
You forget that it's a theme park, you're saying?
Yeah, you kind of forget about all the people that are in the way.
Huh.
At least for me. Maybe that's just because it's so overwhelming to see it all.
The first time, yeah, probably.
But even trying to find a cast member is difficult because they're all in costume and they don't really have name tags. Usually at Disney, they've got the bright white name tags with their name on it. And now it's like these antique bronze name tags that you can barely read the Arabesh on because it's, blends in with the colors of their outfit.
Right.
So you got to make sure this is a cast member. If I ask this guy where the bathroom is he could be like, what do you want, dude?
Will you come with me?
So, I mean, just that aspect.
You're just pointing out the bathroom. Have you seen the bathrooms?
The bathrooms are cool. I sent you a picture of the bathroom.
Yes, you did.
The bathrooms are also amazing. Everything about Galaxy's Edge is amazing. The bathrooms are cool. I would just hang out in the bathroom.
You did send me a picture of you on a toilet.
Yeah. Just standing on a toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your pants fully down. Standing on the seat. Standing.
That's how you use.
That's how you use it.
Space toilets.
You stand.
Yeah. But I mean, just the theming of all of it is so grand. So it's just so It met my expectations and some.
That was cool to hear that. Yeah, because I think we both had high expectations of it going in, at the same time knowing that it is a theme park and there are going to be a bunch of tourists everywhere. But the things that they were talking about when they were hyping the park and, and at D23 and all that stuff, we both had high expectations. So yeah, it's good to hear that. And I mean, they're mostly met.
It's that double-edged thing of, one, it's Disney. So being someone that's lived in Florida and gone to Disney my entire life, I know Disney does pretty much anything it does well.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I say
if they do something, it is...
Compared to anything else, any other theme park or entertainment thing around here, yes.
Yeah. I mean, even when they're, Disney is the mitigation of problems and issues and just the making sure no one hears about or sees or knows that something is going on.
Yeah.
They're so good at just keeping the
suspending
magic. I mean, from the various worlds at Magic Kingdom to even the Toy Story section at Hollywood Studios now too.
Right.
Where everything is just so heavily themed and they try to make it a magical experience. And Galaxy's Edge is obviously you have high expectations as a intense Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
But I was in Star Wars. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And the first thing we did when we went to Galaxy's Edge is we actually went there to eat. That's the reason we went there to start, was we need to go eat and we want to eat at the docking bay. So we went to the docking bay, and of course the place looks awesome and super cool with just stuff everywhere. And the lights like kind of like blinking and dimming and going out, and there's various noises, and just the theming of it is all very cool.
Nice.
But then, and I was telling you about this, so we ordered our food, and of course, it's still a Disney. You still have to order food and pay money for things,
Right.
and ask if they do a pass holder discount. There's still that process of you have to break
Normal life.
you have to break the into reality for a second to be like, do I get a discount here? Or
break the fourth wall a little bit.
right, exactly. But then so my wife goes to get a table with our youngest, and me and my 5-year-old son are waiting for the food. And it took too long. We probably stood up there for maybe 10 minutes. It was taking longer than, no one else was waiting for their food anymore, because as you wait at the counter, they give you your food with a tray and then you take it off.
Right.
But the whole time we were standing there, the cast member behind the counter was talking to us just nonstop. Telling my son about the 3 suns on Batuu, and telling him how the 2 moons are going to rise soon, and talking about the droids that are making the food in the kitchen, and asking where we were from, and saying, because I said, we're from the Orlando area. She's like, there's been a lot of people coming to Batuu from that area recently. It's like, I heard you guys had a storm coming and then nothing happened. Is everything okay? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. She was one, it's normal cast member engagement from Disney standpoint, right? Where they try to keep you engaged and keep you kind of ignoring that your food's taking too long and we don't want you to have a problem. Right. But she was engaging us in character and in Star Wars. And my son was super interested to hear about Batuu, and about there being multiple suns and multiple moons.
Was he asking questions?
He was just like happy about it. He's like, Daddy, droids are making our food. I was like, yeah, that's definitely happening.
Cute.
And I was, and she was talking to me about stuff too. And, I was able to speak to someone as if I was living in Star Wars without them running away from me.
I was just going to say, if you didn't have a child with you, do you think that would still happen?
Oh, well, I would make it happen.
Well, sure, you would, but...
yeah, I would make certain it would happen. The moment I was in Batuu, I was like, all right, I've got the lingo. I remembered it. I'm only using these terms for stuff. The bathroom's not called a bathroom. It's called a refresher.
Really?
The water fountains are called hydrators. I got to ask someone where the refresher was, because God help me, I couldn't find it because everything is so hidden. But everyone, the greetings, the greetings and the those goodbyes and stuff. They have their lingo they use, because that's the stuff they say on Batuu. During the day it's bright suns, and at night it's rising moons, and when you leave it's till the spires, or may the spires keep you, or good journey or something. And so you as a Star Wars fan who just wants to live in Star Wars at all times, I was legally allowed to do that without scaring anyone. And that was so much fun, because they were contractually obligated to meet my expectation.
Right. Can you imagine how fun the cruiser is going to be? Because it's the next level.
Getting
of
to
that,
stay in a
right?
hotel for a night. I'm not just going to visit and then I walk back into the reality of Toy Story Land or the Muppets ride.
You're there the whole time.
You're in a hotel where no matter where you go, it's still Star Wars.
Right. And on top of everyone being in character, there's a story playing out that every cast member is aware of, and everyone that you interact with is aware of.
It's like getting to go to a dinner show for 2 days. Where just like the theming of a show doesn't happen and you're in the show.
Right. And it's a theme that you care about.
Right,
it's not like
And I mean everyone like that lady
Biff
I was talking
murdered
to
his
his
third wife, and
but like that lady at that restaurant that I was talking to, like she was just so happy to tell us and talk about Batuu and be in that too.
Yeah.
Like she didn't seem like she felt obligated to entertain us.
Well, what's great about that is all the people that they hired were hand selected pretty much.
I remember from like the videos and the announcements and stuff.
I mean, these are all people who are
Like
working.
people that cried when they were told that they were going to get to work in Galaxy's Edge.
Right. These are all people that want to be here.
Right.
You know, it's not just what you would hope anyway. It's not
Right.
just another job. So you've got people on our side that are super excited to be able to be there and talk in this language and get away with it.
Exactly.
And then you've got all these people on the other side that are getting paid to exist in this world and serve these people and all that.
Right.
Yes, it's
and so our food
it's
took
pretty
too
cool.
long, but of course, being Disney, they gave us free dessert without even telling us they were giving us free dessert, and without us asking for it. It was just on our tray.
Nice.
And we moved on. Food was amazing. It was expensive. It's Galaxy's Edge. What are you gonna do? The Gold Squadron beer was also good.
Gold Squadron beer, really?
Yeah, it's a Gold Squadron
That's
lager.
cool.
It was good. It was expensive, but it was also good.
wonder-
Actually, it's brewed by Blue Point in New York.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you think it's just a rebrand or is it their own brew?
All the beer they sell in Galaxy's Edge is brewed for them.
Okay.
I don't believe they sell it anywhere else. But yeah, Blue Point Brewery in New York brews the Gold Squadron.
That's
I know
like the,
Oga's. I know Oga's has a few others that I think might be from Tampa.
Okay. That's like the beer in the Harry Potter areas. I know that's
Right.
brewed specifically for them. That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So, and I don't know if remember if we talked about this on the show, right? They had those space sporks that are metal and
Yeah.
they're super nice that they had in
So those
Disneyland.
were I mean, it's reusable silverware. So you turn it
They're
in.
metal.
You're supposed to turn it in.
They're nice metal sporks, space sporks.
So you're supposed to give them back when you're done.
Yeah,
eating,
you
right?
put when you put your tray in the tray
Okay.
thing, and then put the silverware in the dishes. Because even our food was in like metal like dishes
Nice.
that you have to turn back in, almost like the thing that Ray cooks her weird water biscuit in.
Right.
Um.
So, and we were talking about this. Apparently, people were stealing the sporks.
Oh yeah,
in
Disneyland
Hollywood
only had them for about a month
or wherever
until they
Disneyland.
stopped doing them and started using regular silverware because people kept stealing them.
Yeah.
And you can look on eBay, you'll find them. When I went, they still had the sporks. As of yesterday of recording this, they have now stopped serving them, stopped using them. in
Again,
Galaxy's
about a
Edge.
month.
About a month
after it was open.
And I mean, they probably saw that coming,
Yeah.
obviously from Disneyland, but there's probably that like,
Let's just let
one,
people
they have
it.
them, and two, let's do it for a limited time until it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It'd be cool
I
if you could-
definitely wanted to take one.
It would, yeah. It would
I
be
didn't,
cool.
but I really wanted to.
I'm sure they'll end up in a shop at some point.
That was
right?
my thing. It was like,
Why don't you
I
just sell
would
these?
buy a pack of these.
I don't know why, but
Like I would buy a pack of these from a shop in Galaxy's Edge, right? I would buy a pack of these cool space sporks.
they're not from anything, right?
No, they're just
Are they?
cool.
I mean, have they been in any media?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They're just
either.
really cool,
Why though?
crooked space sporks, and they're awesome.
Okay.
And they were fun to use. Yeah, and just I really wanted to take one. I didn't,
Well.
but I really wanted to.
You didn't, and look what happened. They stopped anyway. So you
So I
should have just taken it.
one. I
Yes.
should have just taken it.
You should have just taken it.
Right.
See what happens when you're nice.
Right. But then, going through the market, and there's just so many people in that market. It feels like a market, even though obviously, and it doesn't feel like typical Disney stores where there's like a huge shop with all of the things in one place. It's each little cubby has the things for that place, like the creature stall and the
Nice.
popcorn place and the the place that has some hats and mugs and
Yeah.
various things, and the place with the like handmade looking dolls and wooden toys.
Yeah.
That stuff was so cool. The wooden, like the little wooden kids, like Millennium Falcon and
Right.
X-wing and TIE
Porg
Fighter.
and
And
I
then
saw.
the off-looking dolls. That
Yeah.
stuff was all super cool. And again, nothing branded as Star Wars or anything.
Right.
Everything has a tag, but it has like Arabesh and then English on it saying what the thing is.
That's cool.
So like the creature stall, all the creatures have what creature it is on there.
Yeah.
And just all of it is it's just so well done.
Were there any shopkeeper characters in that area?
They were all pretty standard cast members in their
Okay.
in their thrown together outfits of whatever
Humans.
they decided to to wear. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I think
it
the
was just
only
all really cool looking.
non-human in those shops is in Doc Ondar's, right?
I think so. Yeah, where
He's
he's
in there
actually
somewhere.
there.
Yeah, in a cage, behind a cage or something.
I really wanted to. So that was, we were hoping to ride Smuggler's Run. Obviously, we had a 5 and a 1-year-old with us, so that makes it a little more difficult.
Sure.
But the line was pretty much always an hour while we were there, which still isn't bad for any Disney
60
park
minutes
ride,
isn't bad,
especially a new ride.
Well, Space Mountain, it gets over 60 minutes pretty easily.
And it's been around forever.
Right.
But it wasn't bad. I mean, we probably could have tried harder and did it, but I also didn't want to try and rush it. It's the same reason I didn't go into Doc Ondar's. I knew I didn't have an hour to look around in there.
The same. I would want a lot of time to just, take your time.
That's why I was like, I'm here, and I know I only have a certain amount of time because I still need to.
Yeah.
My wife does not want to spend her whole evening in here.
Right.
And our youngest definitely didn't care. My 5-year-old wants to go back, and I'm certainly going to take him back. But I'm like, I know I've only got a couple hours in here, so I'm just going to look at every single thing in the market and then go to the docking bay. And since we have passes, I'll get to go back. And I know, you know, I didn't want to just see a little bit of everything and not really take it in.
Right.
So I know when I go to Doc Ondar's, one, I need to have thousands of dollars with me because
you'll
I
want
know I want
there.
literally everything in there. And two, I want to be able just to stare at stuff
and explore and see all the little Easter eggs and see all the
and that's what I was telling. I was
showing
showing my son the app, which turns into a data pad and all the stuff you can do with hacking. And I was like, buddy, let's just come back one day.
And
we don't even have to ride a ride. Let's just play the phone game and just be spies.
Yeah.
And just run around and do whatever. So it's one of those things where I just want to go back and I don't care if I do anything. I just want to be there.
Which is great that it's that experience.
It's exactly what I wanted.
Right.
And
that's what I'm saying about the cruiser.
You can't hear or see the rest of the park, right? The rest of the theme park.
Yeah.
You are just in Star Wars, heavily themed.
Nice.
And you get to talk like a Star Wars person and order food that sounds like a Star Wars thing.
That's what I'm saying about the cruiser. It's just the next level of this. It's an extended stay where I mean there's less freedom to just come back and experience it again.
If I'm ever going to have a mental break where I no longer accept reality, that's when it's going to happen. I'm going
Do
to
you
come
feel like that's coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to come back from that, speaking Huddies, and my wife's going to
commit
me. I'm going to be Baker acted from whatever devil language I'm speaking as far as she's concerned. Right, that's going to be the time I come back and I just start referring to everything as the Star Wars terms for stuff, and
it's going to be
talking about making my coffee and talking about how the First Order is coming.
Calf.
Calf. Keep an eye out, standing at the window, telling my wife I'm keeping an eye out for Kylo, for the First Order, and asking when the next shipment of whatever is coming in, and it's going to be a problem. I'm just going to return to my house, and my house is just going to... I'm going to remake my house into being the same thing and forcing all of my family to refer to things as the proper Star Wars term for it.
You sprain your ankle and you're trying to make Bacta and stick it in this pot of goo.
Yeah, I'm going to make a Bacta tank. It's just stacked trash cans. Full of hose water.
All your bones are sticking out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on a adult diaper and get in a trash can full of water. It's coming.
Okay.
We've got a few years until that happens, so I'm good.
You're
for
looking
now.
at your watch like you have a countdown.
We
got a couple of years.
Countdown until broken. 4 years. We're good.
Wow, it's going faster than I thought.
Tomorrow, we got to wrap this up.
It's not linked to time. It's just it's something that speeds up and slows down at will.
No, it's like a heart rate monitor where it just it senses.
It can get really fast.
It can tell it's coming.
Right.
And I can do things to mitigate it. and then it'll change. Like, all right, you added another year onto that.
Well, that all sounds great and fun and good.
You should go sometime.
I will.
We should go.
We will.
And
we will.
Because I didn't go to Droid Depot. I didn't go to Savi's workshop. Like none of that, right? So I didn't see the other half of the park.
I appreciate you did not pop your cherry on all the special things.
I have multiple cherries, and only the market one was popped. But I mean, there's 4 of the big things there. I didn't even do. I didn't 5 of the big things because of the ride. You're right. It was just the market and one of the places to eat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to do there, and I could have just like I did. I spent almost 3 hours just looking around the market, which is
I completely agree with you about Doc Ondar's. I would want to go in there and spend lots of time. And then obviously Savi's. We have to do Savi's and get a lightsaber.
Right.
That's like a religious experience.
Yep.
Almost literally.
Yeah.
The Droid Depot, I'm not that excited
I'm going to take my son there to build one.
That makes sense. I don't even know if my kids would like that. My oldest son maybe, but I don't know. I mean, they've done the existing lightsaber building experiences, and then they have in the Disney Springs area, they have the little action figure,
the little
droid buildings things, and they've done that once, and they weren't, they enjoyed it, but they weren't super excited about it. I don't know. I don't know if that's for us. I don't know if that's worth it.
Are they collectors?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, they obsess over something for a week and then throw it away.
Okay.
So no, no. I'm more I don't even have that much of a. I like having full, complete series of things like media and comic books and things like that. I'm not so obsessive about collecting variants of things.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that.
My son loves building stuff, so like being able to make a droid.
Yeah, right.
That's all he's talked about. Like since he first found out that they were going to be able to make droids there, especially like ones you could like remote control, basically.
Well, yeah. So if he's excited about it, yeah, that sounds great.
Too. So it's going to be a very expensive hobby, that thing. Because you build it and it's like $100, I think.
Yeah.
And then you can buy more stuff to go on it if you want to. Like they have the R2's like jet boosters you can put on it. They have the serving tray from
really? From Return
you
of the
can buy
Jedi?
a serving tray like from Return of the
Jabba?
Jedi to put on them. Like the various arms and attachments for most R series droids you can put on them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there's BB attachments as well. But yeah, I could see that it's gonna get real expensive real fast. And I mean the lightsaber alone is $200 as well. So I know for 100% I'm already $300 in the hole for stuff I know I'm definitely going to make at Galaxy's Edge. Let alone not even seeing everything that's available in Doc Ondar's.
Right.
Which I know there's cool stuff there.
So there's Doc Ondar's, and then there's the Outfitter. I think I would end up spending more in the Outfitter. I forget the full name of the place.
It's in the market with the robes and everything.
Yeah.
They have the robes and the belts.
Flight suits and all that junk.
Oh, the flight suits are over by... There's stuff like that over by Rise of the Resistance.
That makes sense.
There's like stalls basically with that stuff.
Okay.
In the market is like basically a robe shop with the belts and the holsters and the robes, and then like Resistance gear essentially with like some of the like tunics, just like tunics and stuff that's akin to what Rey wears.
Sure.
Some of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, all the like the hoods and the robes and all that stuff's in the market.
See, like the tunics, a Jedi tunic, I would probably buy a Jedi tunic.
Right.
I've always wanted a flight suit.
Right.
Whether it's a Resistance or Rebellion flight suit. I mean, there's a ton of that stuff.
Right.
Hats. Well, you mentioned that. There's a hat shop and mugs and stuff like that. Yeah, the one you're wearing. All of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I would have to I would need a budget going in for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously a lightsaber. Those are the, and then any kind of, I don't know about the collectible stuff in Doc Ondars. I'd have to go in there and look. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in there that's
Well, it's
amazing.
like, there's like the busts of Jedis and stuff.
That kind of
and
stuff I'm not super
That's where
excited
they sell
about.
the hilts of the lightsabers from
Yeah,
the films as
right.
well.
It's that kind
That's
of
the
collectible
problem.
stuff. Yeah.
It's
that
like
that
you
I
just-
would get in trouble
If I could
with.
have a wall of the lightsaber hilts
Yes.
from the
Gosh.
films,
Oh, that would be incredible.
because they sell those there, right? It's
Every hilt.
the
I would want
nice-
every
the
hilt.
nice hilts. They have
Yeah.
Ahsoka's, they have Yoda's, they have
Right.
Luke's. I think they might have Mace Windu's as well.
Ugh, see,
Just all those. It's so cool, and they have the holocrons there, and
yeah.
just like weird artifact stuff that
Sure.
looks vaguely Sith or Jedi. So there's just cool things that just would be
There's
awesome
something
to
for everybody.
have. So if you can go. I highly recommend it.
No.
All right, we've probably spent half the episode on that, if not more.
Yep. Half. Exactly.
Okay,
There we go.
moving
Let's get into the
on.
real stuff.
So, Mandalorian's coming, and
It is.
Holy shit, that's like 2 months away.
Yeah, it's close.
It's really close. Anyways, people keep talking to Favreau.
I already
about
have a Disney Plus subscription. It's not even
It's
out
not
yet.
here. It is out. It is free in the Netherlands right now if you want to move.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Can you use like a VPN to get access to it? I bet you could.
I wonder.
I actually want to try it.
Yeah. I'm gonna
After-
make a note.
after
I'm gonna
the-
make a note about that and look at that later. Anyways, Disney Plus, like
I'm afraid to touch my laptop because
the beta is essentially for open and free in the Netherlands right now, where they're testing it. Before it goes
Netherlands of
live.
all places.
Everyone's nice and will give proper feedback. That's my assumption.
This sucks.
Yeah, I don't think you get much of that from the
You
Netherlands.
suck.
So it's out. Obviously, Mandalorian's not. Just all the stuff they have for free on there. Like the
Uh-huh.
regular stuff is out. But anyways, people keep talking to Favreau about the Mandalorian. And recently there have been rumors that Mara Jade is going to show up in live action soon. That's been a rumor that's come from a couple people where they've
Yeah.
they have no no sources or anything that they're providing, but saying that Mara Jade, to keep our eyes out for Mara Jade, is that she's going to be in something sometime soon. And they've been recently, like Entertainment Weekly was asking Favreau about if his series might include Thrawn or Mara Jade, because obviously it's easy to loop those kind of people in, especially now that Thrawn's been canon, but Mara Jade hasn't yet. And
Yeah.
that'd be really cool to at least make her character canon. While of course
If not,
her original form of her character, much like Thrawn, couldn't exist in the form
yeah.
now as
Right.
it did before. But anyways, his response has been interesting, where he's saying, I don't want to talk about anything that might be fun for people to discover. We do have conversations. Part of what's fun to see if we could merge into the worlds of the original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, the Clone Wars, and what's been considered canon up to this point, and what's been considered part of Legends. I think this show offers an opportunity to bring in all those elements, so no matter what your flavor of Star Wars ice cream you like, there will be something to enjoy. But you're asking the right questions.
Yeah. Which to me says not necessarily confirming that, but
We're
the
not,
fact that you're thinking
we're
about
we're not open to it.
Sure. I think if it makes sense for a story, yeah, and
Right.
it's a possibility, they'll absolutely do it. But the fact that you're thinking along the lines of what about X character from Legends? What about Y character from Legends? Like that's not off the table in any
Right.
way.
And it also makes me think, what is he going to include that we haven't thought of yet?
Yeah, which is that's a really exciting thought. To think that all of this stuff is up for grabs.
Because the way
if
he
it makes
says that,
sense
like
in
you're
a
asking the
story.
right questions, and I don't want to spoil anything that's going to be fun for someone to discover, means he's included something that no one's asked about yet.
Well, I'm sure when the show comes out, we're going to see all kinds of stuff
I'm
that
sure.
is being pulled. I mean, his gun was pulled from the holiday special,
Right.
I mean, that's
exactly.
It's that kind of stuff that's going to be in there.
Right. And we've seen, he had that Instagram photo of the ice cream maker that Wilro Hood
Mhm.
was running around with. Like there's definitely going to be little things like that, but I wonder I wonder if it stops at those little things that are just like, that's a cool call out or little Easter
Or if it
egg.
goes all the way up to
I
full blown
wonder
characters.
I wonder if it goes out to the point
Yeah.
of there being a character that's like, holy shit.
I mean, what if like Dash Rendar shows up at some point? You
Right.
know,
We
like
know
those
we,
kinds
we
of
know at
characters.
least IG-88 is referenced. In
Sure.
reference to
Well,
IG-11.
yeah, I mean, he's a canon character. That makes sense.
But
yeah,
that's, I mean, who knows? But the fact that he's saying stuff like that is super cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't see how a character like Dash Rendar or a what was that Corellian pilot that was in the X-Wing series? You remember his name?
oh man.
Was he in the X-Wing series or was he in the he was a smuggler. Talon Card.
Yeah.
He was a Corellian, right? I'm pretty sure he was.
Maybe.
He was a smuggler. Was he in the X-Wing? I don't think he was in the X-Wing series. He was in something else. A different series. I know I'm committing heresy here by not knowing this. But
I can't remember.
But was he in? Was he a Corellian?
Maybe not. I honestly can't remember. It's been
No, he's born on the planet Card.
Okay.
So he wasn't a Corellian. Who am I thinking of? There was a Corellian, I thought. Anyway, characters like that, you know, to pull those guys back. I don't see a reason why those kind of people can't exist in this universe still.
Right.
You know? People like Prince Zizor.
Yeah.
Like Black Sun is around. That's a canon organization.
True.
Why? Who says he can't exist and never did exist? You know, like this kind of stuff. It would be great to see it, especially in a TV show where if you introduce a character like that, they have the potential of coming back or having some kind of extended story, like what's been done with Thrawn in the books lately,
right?
And in Rebels,
yeah.
You know, they're kind of reinvented in this new canon.
Similar, but within fitting in the constraints
it's
of the
still
new canon.
It's still the character, just some background trivia has been changed a little bit, you know?
Right, essentially, yeah.
But yeah, to pull them back and then give them a new life in this new canon would be amazing. I would love to see some of this old stuff come back.
That would be
but in a way that makes sense for the current story, not just rehashing everything that we've already, you know, heard about them in in the past media. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, think about Obi-Wan. We were talking about how there's all this potential for crossover between like Solo and the Obi-Wan show, and like that time period being really rich.
Yeah.
Potentially in story, the way that Rebels kind of wasted it. I think the Obi-Wan show has the same potential to revive it or to tell all the right stories.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would be great to see all the stuff being pulled. That's gonna bother me now. The X-Wing series main guy, I can't remember his name. I know you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, but I have no idea.
I read all of those books and I can't remember. I know I'm gonna.
And this is totally not important, but just apparently, and I don't remember hearing about this until like this week. There's a prominent Jawa character in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Do you remember hearing anything about that?
Huh. No.
Okay, so on
I don't
IMDb,
think so.
like the first person listed is a dwarf who plays Jawa.
Okay.
There's been Black Series figures that have been called out that are going to be the Jawa from The Mandalorian.
Really?
So there is a prominent character in all 8 episodes of The Mandalorian who is a Jawa. And as stuff about this Jawa kept coming up because I follow stuff with the action figures and stuff like that, I looked into it, and there's an actor that's dubbed that just called Jawa. He may not have a name. I don't know if Jawas have names.
Huh.
But I don't remember hearing anything about Jawas ever to this point until this week. And now I think that's also super cool.
Yeah.
that there's just a Jawa character
I wonder how that's gonna work.
that is in IMDb for 8 episodes. Like, it is a main character that's Jawa,
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work.
which maybe he's just part of his crew. Kind of like how,
Is it- yeah, I was just gonna say
they had
that-
Peekpa
Yeah, in
in
the
Last
right.
Shot.
Uh-huh.
Um,
The Ewok character.
right, where
Ewok hacker. It was a hacker, right?
yeah, Peekpa was a hacker
What was the other
that
alien?
no one could understand because she spoke Ewok and no one else spoke that.
What was the other alien character that was kind of strange?
Florx Biggles?
Right, who
That's
was
his name. I'm not making that up.
who was an Ugnaught?
He was an Ugnaught.
Yes, that's right.
There was an Ugnaught named Florx Biggles, and all he did in the book was sleep,
Yes.
pretty much. But yeah, at least Jawa so far is just called Jawa. I guess we've got that going for us. He's not, Scrump Dumply.
Coran Horn. That's the guy who I'm thinking of. Force-sensitive human Corellian pilot. That's who I've been thinking of this whole time.
That name does not ring a bell.
Coran Horn. Read that series. It was a good series.
It's been so long since I did.
I loved reading about. I know Wedge was in the Aftermath series a little bit, but I loved reading about Wedge in the X-wing series.
Right, yeah.
Like the Rogue Squadron.
In
book
Aftermath, he
and-
was just an old, retired man, basically. who
Yeah, it
was
sucks.
helping out in the flight deck,
Yeah,
essentially.
kind of sucks.
Um,
Anyway,
but yeah, so yeah, there's a Jawa in the Mandalorian, which I don't
see,
I
that's
don't
the
know
kinda-
why I like that, but I think it's awesome that there's
Yeah.
going to be a Jawa that's not just
In a
throw-
live-action
not just a
series.
throwaway Jawa. Like
Right.
it's
It's a
credited for 8
character.
episodes as a character.
Right. See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. This show has so much potential to have that kind of stuff in it. Like the stuff that gets us excited in the books.
Right.
Like all these
stupid little things.
all these little weird throwaway things in the books are now going to be in a live action show and have a lot of space,
right.
It just sounds cool. I'm excited for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right.
All right. Well, the
Here
only
we
other
go.
thing-
15 minutes left and time to cover all the rumors.
I mean, so since the rumors are still the same, rumors are still coming from multiple angles, which the closer you get to it releasing,
the
and
rumor does come out.
well, yeah, the rumor does come out. Does Star Wars is good? Answer to be
We'll
seen.
never not use that reference.
No, it's-
I
it's
think of
good.
that reference all the time, literally for everything.
Me too.
The rumor does come out.
You can thank Game Grumps for that. That's where I found it. But the closer we get to it releasing, which is, I think earlier this week, it was 100 days until Rise of Skywalker
That's-
comes out.
it's
So at
crazy.
this point, we're under 100 days until it releases,
Yeah,
which is, my bones. My bones.
all of them.
And the same rumors keep coming stronger, which
Oh.
is interesting, especially given some of the rumors, I think.
Given how kind of out there some of them are,
How out there some of them seem, which of course a
you have to take it with a grain of
50% or 25% verified,
Sure.
rumor that might have some credence and a fourth of it, right?
Sure.
So you end up with like 5% that's actually might be true.
Right.
But
Or it was in like an early draft and isn't there anymore. or,
yeah,
something
just like
that.
the concept art for the Force Awakens that
Sure.
none of it ever happened, or actually some of it's actually finally happening in the last movie,
Right, like the whole Death Star
like
thing.
the Death Star.
Right.
So one of those that's still floating around is just obviously a lot of stuff to do with Rey. Rey being the main character so far of the film alongside Kylo. I would say the series is about Rey and Kylo, right? That's
Yeah.
for the most part they're the main characters.
Yeah.
And still harping on Rey's heritage.
I don't want to get off of this point. I'll just say real quick. You made me think about the point of this series just real quick and how it's like the burden of legacy.
Right. That's
In a
exactly
way.
what it is.
It's Kylo
is-
it's Kylo struggling with his legacy and struggling to live up to it, and then Rey struggling to find how she fits into this legacy, into
Ray,
this story.
Ray
That's
trying to find out if she even has a legacy. Like,
Sure,
what is her purpose, because she hasn't had one.
right.
Which is interesting you bring that up, given the current rumors
Yeah.
about Ray.
Right.
So supposedly Kylo telling her that her parents were nobodies is true. But
Which we have both agreed on for a very long
It's
time now,
fine,
that could
it's
be
good.
the only.
I like that, right? However, while her parents may be nobodies, the current rumor is that her grandparents were not nobodies. And that somehow she is actually the granddaughter of Palpatine.
Okay.
This has actually come from multiple people
So
recently.
it's not about moms anymore. Now it's about granddads.
Well, I guess he I don't want to think about it, but he had to do somebody. It's all his weird flaps.
Oh, you think it was after the transformation?
How old?
Yeah, it would have had to been, considering how young
it would have
Ray
had to
is.
been, given how young Ray is.
That's not possible though, because he died, quote unquote,
Well, that's a whole,
after
that's
before
a whole,
Ray
that's
was
a whole other thing.
born.
Now,
No,
so
hold on. Where you go with this? What are you thinking
I'm
about
not picturing
here?
his dick having the same weird face flaps as his face. And that's not.
That's totally not. You're not thinking of his dick looking like Zoidberg. Zoidberg
it's-
without his shell, right?
No, that's exactly
Okay.
that's exactly it.
Okay.
And ugh, what a horrible image.
The same
First,
pink,
I was thinking
same
of
pink color.
a trimmer, and then you gave me Zoidberg, and now that's
Tremor?
exactly right. I don't know why. The trimmers from
The worm.
a trimmer from the film Tremors.
They're not called tremors. They're worms from the film Tremors.
Whatever, the trimmer worms.
Okay. I just want to be
The
very
weird-
clear. They're not. It's not.
I don't know what they were called.
The movie isn't called Tremors because there are worms called
Sure.
Tremors in it.
Does
Right?
it really matter?
I just hope you're not saying that.
I don't know.
It's not a tremor.
Whatever they're called.
It's just a worm.
I refuse.
It's a Tremors worm.
Sure. They probably have. I think they actually have a name, and I can't remember what it was called.
Okay. I'm just making sure you don't actually think
I
that
don't
they're
know.
called
I'm just
Tremors.
going to call them Tremors because there's been like 48 movies, and they're all called Tremors. So that's
Okay.
so we're all on the same page.
Okay.
I do think they have a name in the film, and I can't recall what they referred to.
Okay.
them.
Not
Anyways,
everyone in Harry Potter is named Harry Potter. You know
What?
that, right? That's not. Oh, look, it's a Harry Potter over there.
Yeah, it's a lady Harry Potter or a man Harry Potter.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Are you sure?
There was literally a Jurassic Park.
Graboids. They were called graboids.
Okay, yeah. Right. See?
Better than worm, obviously.
Better than Tremor.
Well, we'll see.
There was literally a Jurassic Park, so I can't say the same thing there. That everyone isn't a Jurassic Park. Watch out for that Jurassic Park over there. There's a Jurassic Park coming. Quick, rev up the Jurassic Park so we can go faster.
But everything was already branded with Jurassic Park anyways, so you might as well call it that. Anyways, so Rey is supposedly the granddaughter of Palpatine in some way.
I don't buy it.
No one asked
I'm
you.
not even going to use my microphone. I don't buy it. That's how much I don't buy it.
You're so unfazed, you refuse to speak into your mic. But obviously, how could Palpatine be having the sex if he was also dead?
That's the question. Maybe I should use my microphone. That's the question we
Yes.
all want to know.
This-
You think they'll answer that?
along with I hope there's a hardcore flashback
Oh, jeez. No.
in
No.
IMAX.
I mean,
That's one of the few
I mean,
scenes
no.
they shot fully in IMAX.
no thank
Of the like 3 scenes they shot fully in IMAX, that's one of them.
Okay.
So you can see all the flaps, even the ones outside
What
of the
if-
black bars.
What if there was? You're in the theater, and the screen has to like pause for a second so it can widen.
Yeah.
Just for that.
So you can see the extra flaps.
Just for that,
Obviously.
Just for that scene. And then when it's over, it has to go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once there are less flaps, it goes back to normal.
It's funnier in my head thinking about that than it is to talk about it.
So the other part of that rumor is that Palpatine is not currently dead in the film.
Okay.
I have not seen anything has stated how or why.
Okay.
But so current state of rumors is that when Kylo has to find this wayfinding device, right, which leads him to the Sith fleet, which has been a pretty consistent rumor since the beginning of rumors for for Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
So he gets this wayfinding device that leads him to the Sith fleet. But supposedly now current rumors is when he reaches the Sith fleet, Palpatine's literally actually there.
Huh.
Like 113 years old, decrepit looking, not in any state to be doing anything, Palpatine.
Okay.
And then he sends him, Palpatine sends him off to do his bidding and basically collect Rey because he wants Rey.
Do you think he's pulling kind of a... Well, he did this in Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi, but, pulling the act that he's kind of helpless? Do you think that's a possibility?
Given the other rumors
right.
that supposedly near the end of the film, Rey and Kylo both fight him.
Okay.
And he at least, like, it doesn't say Rey and Kylo just, like, stab him and he's dead. Like, they fight him, so he must be able to fight in some capacity.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if it is that feigning old, decrepit, do the thing for me.
Interesting.
I'm wondering. But supposedly he wants Kylo to get Rey, just like they've always been trying to get Rey for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Even with Snoke. Basically bring Rey. But part of that is because of the legacy of her being somehow tied to Palpatine, possibly his granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And it leaning into kind of what Vader was trying to bring Luke in to, together we can be this power. Almost trying to do the same thing to Rey. Trying to give her a purpose in joining him in his whatever it is. Which I could see him doing that. I still fully believe in the fact that we do not need Rey to be tied to anyone.
I don't I don't agree with the idea that,
it could
we'll see
very
what
well
happens,
happen.
but
it could very well happen, and obviously we go
sure.
with it. And I'm sure they present it better than someone writing a sentence that says that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter.
Yeah, sure, anything's possible. Having said that, you're right. I think it's still the same problem as having Rey related to someone directly, not extended family, but directly someone being her mom or her, she's the daughter of somebody important. I think it undermines her character in the same way.
And it complicates the story much further than I think it needs to be complicated. In that she's related to Palpatine and then having to explain that, I think is very difficult.
Yeah,
provided Palpatine's alive in the first place, that's enough that we need to be explained. Like, what is he doing here and now when he was thrown down a energy reactor shaft?
Well, yeah, that's a whole separate thing. That's already going to require a lot of story time.
Exactly.
So sure, not only does it require a lot of story time to explain that connection, but at the same time, even if they were to cover it quickly, I still think it undermines her character. Like what we were just talking about, the whole point of this trilogy, in a way, that it's Rey struggling to see how she fits into this.
Right.
What is her story? She is a nobody.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could say her finding out at the end of the story that she's related to the person who's orchestrated basically the entire, all of nine of the movies.
Right.
All this story we've heard so far, the whole Skywalker saga. For her to find out at the end, that she's tied into that, and then having to struggle with that and come to terms with it. It could be compelling, I guess, but I don't know. I think it's a better story for her to not be anybody.
Yeah.
And still
I
have
agree completely.
and be confronted with, again, still the biggest bad guy that's ever existed.
Right.
In this whole story.
And I could see him, just like we've seen in a trailer a vision of temptation.
Yeah.
Of being drawn to the dark side. Obviously he's going to play that card with her.
Sure.
Just like he's played that card with everyone.
Yeah.
Just like Kylo got played that card and doped into it, and Anakin and everything. So there's obviously going to be that promise of power and, together with our power, we can do a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it requires her being related to him for that to happen. By any means.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll see what happens. If you want to get really weird with it, people have been...
Well, I do.
So the Sith troopers, people have been saying their chest plates are too big. Like they look wrong. People have been saying the armor on the Sith...
Where are you going with this?
Just you hold on to your sweet niblets.
Okay.
People have been saying the Sith troopers look a little weird and their chest plates look different.
Okay.
In that possibly they are all women. And that they
They look wrong.
Yeah. As the incels would agree. Women
all the
are
incels
wrong.
creating these theories.
Right, yeah, exactly. As the incels would state, women are bad and evil. But the Sith troopers seem to be... The armor seems to be more that of like female armor, much like Phasma, where the chest plate is different.
Okay.
So that definitely 100% means that all of the Sith troopers are clones of Rey.
Okay. Whoa. Wait a minute.
Nope. That's
No.
the
What?
end. That is
worse.
a hard agreed upon thing by ridiculous people right now.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Clones of Rey.
There are a lot of people that 100% believe that all of the Sith troopers are female and are clones of Rey.
What is this, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode or something? This is like 90s television.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is...
What?
I said it was going to get weird.
Well, you didn't prepare me for that.
So that is also... I
That
wouldn't
can't
call
be
that
real.
I wouldn't call that a rumor because that is so beyond bizarre.
That's worse than the mom theory.
Any mom theory.
Yeah.
That's worse than Rey having a mom.
That's worse than Shmi being Rey's mom. Like, how would that work?
That's worse than literally anyone being Rey's mom.
Or like Rey being Anakin's mom or something. That's what it was. Rey being Anakin's mom.
Yeah, some kind of Back to the Future situation.
Even though Shmi bore her or bore him.
Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's out there too. Just so we're clear, that's also out there
What
and
a
agreed
leap.
upon by a lot of people.
What a leap.
That
How
one
do you
has not
connect those dots.
That one has not come from any sort of source. People just all agree on it together.
Good Lord. I hate the internet.
So go with that one, if you will.
If I will. I hate the internet.
While I wholeheartedly disagree with that, part of the other rumors that have been...
So the whole Darth Jar Jar thing, that was like just a big troll, and everyone was just agreeing
This
with
one
it as
doesn't
a
seem
troll.
to be a troll. People seem to be 100% on board with Rey Sith troopers.
There were a lot of videos around Darth Jar Jar and trying to justify it, but I always took it as a big... It's just, we're all having fun.
We're just being silly here.
Yeah.
No. From
But
what I can
this is
tell,
different,
people
right?
seem to agree upon this is definitely true.
Oh, it makes me sick. Physically sick.
But it's not come from any source.
Right.
It's just people suddenly agreed upon it.
That's awful.
These troopers look like they got tits. It's Rey. Who else has tits? Like I assume that's what they've all yelled at each other and agreed upon in some kind of boardroom.
Boardroom. I don't think these people are organized enough to
In
have
their
a boardroom.
clubhouse.
Okay, that's better.
They banged a hammer on a lunchbox and all agreed upon the fact that Sith troopers have boobs and are Rey.
Oh no.
I cannot willfully
I cannot
believe that.
I cannot.
But from actual people that state they have sources, the things that I can and hope actually happen, and this has come from multiple people, is that the film will open with a flashback. It will open with a flashback of Luke and Leia training together.
Oh, wow.
It will open with Luke and
How?
Leia training together with lightsabers at this Jedi Academy, and her deciding that she will no longer be training to become a Jedi because she's pregnant.
Oh, wow. That would be incredible.
That then goes into them having a lightsaber battle in frustration,
No, really?
supposedly.
Wow.
Some kind of like Luke doesn't want her to leave, and she wants to, and she believes she needs to not do this for her family type of
Yeah.
situation, and then them basically having a lightsaber battle, but not obviously to a violent end.
That would be an
But
incredibly
her
powerful
having
opening.
her having a lightsaber,
Yeah.
battling Luke, and them,
In a temple.
but it having been in a typical training session where she then reveals to him that she's pregnant and she no longer wants to
Right.
pursue this.
Right.
Supposedly that's how the film opens.
That gives me chills.
That one I love.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I hope
so
that's
much.
real.
Now, of course, we have to have young Luke and young Leia, which gonna be deep
Right, the practical
deep
effects.
faked in some way.
Practical.
Which, I mean, the way deep fake looks these days, I'm sure they can pull it off better than they did in Rogue One.
Was Rogue One? Rogue One wasn't really a deep fake.
No, it was just bad CG. It was just okay CG.
Who?
Leia.
Okay. I agree with that. Tarkin was incredible.
Tarkin was better. There was still a uncanny valley, a little bit.
Watch it again.
I have.
It holds up.
Yes, but there's still an uncanny valley with his eyes. The way his eyes move are too
okay.
juicy.
The way
like you can hear sloshing.
he's an old man. You can do that for any
You
old
know
man.
when you get old and your eyes get thick?
You know how when you look at an old man and it looks like they're just full of juice? That's definitely the thought you always have about old men.
That's what a goiter is, just full of juice. That's where the juice goes. George Lucas, full of juice. That man is like 90% juice.
That's a waddle, not a goiter. There's a difference.
I disagree.
That's an empty goiter. It used to be full.
Where'd the juice go?
Where did the juice
Someone
go?
took this
Indeed.
man's juice. Someone took this man's juice. That's the real question we should all be asking.
Where did the juice go?
Where's George's juice?
Where's George's juice?
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has to be. Right here at the end.
Always. That's
Where is
typically one
George's
of the last
juice?
things we say in the episode ends up being the title somehow.
Where is George's juice? The question on all of our minds.
But supposedly there
We
is
can't
going,
go anywhere for that.
supposedly there's going to be a young Leia and a young Luke
Yes,
training
juiceless.
with younger voices. Supposedly, obviously, there's been multiple voice actresses that have done Leia in the various television shows, so that's easy enough. We've got Mark Hamill
Well, this
still.
wasn't that long ago, though. I mean,
She was dead by the time they made this movie.
well, okay.
So no, but I'm
I
saying
know. I'm saying
there will need to be a
when
voice
he
actress.
had the
there
when
will
he
be
had the temple.
no, but I'm saying there will need to be a voice actress for Leia as a character.
Yeah.
And obviously, we still have Mark Hamill. They'll probably just have to edit his voice to make him sound younger, because he's pretty raspy these days.
Maybe.
But anyways, I love that idea, especially as an opening.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming it going from that to something with Kylo, right? Where it like almost like wiping or cutting or fading to Kylo and him being just a asshole after her saying she was pregnant and wanted to
Maybe.
leave.
I think there's the whole every Star Wars movie starts in space thing to think about. You
Right.
know?
And that's what some people were saying with that rumor was like, I couldn't see this film not opening on a spaceship. Like that's what we do.
maybe it starts in space above the planet that.
Right.
Did we ever find out the planet that his temple was on?
That's a good question.
I don't think we did.
I don't recall. I think, and I forgot to write down the color, but I believe Leia's lightsaber is green, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But leaning with that and rumors that I like to some point, is that Rey will, at some point in the film, Rey defeats Kylo to almost killing him and leaves him for dead.
Mhm.
And then that scares her so much that she almost went there that she actually goes back to Acto, much like Luke, to trash her ship and stay there because she feels like she is not like basically that she's unsafe, much like Luke. Basically trying to almost following the same path as Luke to a point. But that ghost Luke, and she actually goes to throw away Luke's the Skywalker lightsaber into the water. And
Who
Ghost
does?
Luke shows up and either catches it or presents it back to her.
Hey, you dropped this.
Yeah. Ghost
Now, why
Ghost-
didn't Obi-Wan do that for Luke?
Right. Ghost Luke appears
Okay.
and has that lightsaber and is talking to her about it. And
Do you think he'll actually be? This is something I've thought about. Do you think he'll actually be a ghost, or do you think he'll have mastered this kind of projection of
I
real
wonder.
matter?
I do wonder that, actually. That would be interesting and a interesting
The way that he did.
that would
for
be an
Kylo.
interesting mutation of the ability
Yeah.
of Force Ghosts.
I could totally see it happening. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Especially with these rumors where he's more involved and like
Yes.
talking to her. And supposedly in this, her trying to reject that lightsaber and her finally agreeing to push on, he presents Leia's lightsaber to her instead. And she moves forward in the film with Leia's lightsaber. instead of the Luke Anakin lightsaber.
So you think the scenes that we saw in the trailer were early on
In the forest?
in the forest and her in the
Supposedly-
desert with Kylo's TIE fighter coming at her?
Yeah, I think that's before she almost defeats Kylo. At some point, she does that. And in the forest, supposedly she is training with Leia at that point.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But at some point, supposedly, according to the rumors, she gets Leia's lightsaber instead and has Leia's lightsaber at that point going forward.
That's interesting.
For the, I don't know, maybe the third act, essentially. I think that's probably that turning point from the second to third act.
Although she was fighting with a blue saber at the end on the Death Star that we saw in the trailer.
That's supposedly earlier on, that's where she almost kills Kylo.
So that's not
before they end up fighting Palpatine together in his throne room in the.
That's not the big climactic battle where they're jumping all over.
No, that's supposedly like Act 2 big battle.
So there's 2 battles with Kylo, really?
No, Kylo
Before Redemption.
Kylo supposedly from that battle comes away from that changed and no longer and when he leaves that fight almost having been killed, he is no longer Kylo but is Ben, according to the rumors.
Interesting.
So at the point of fighting Palpatine, it is Ben Solo and Rey, whatever she is. And supposedly by that point, she'll have Leia's lightsaber. At some point in the film, Leia supposedly on her deathbed, much akin to Yoda, where like her time is essentially up,
Okay.
force-wise. She is now dying for
Okay.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
There's story involved in that. Doesn't get too heavy into that, but supposedly we will get to that point with Leia, which will be super rough if that's true.
Okay.
But then, so towards the end of the movie, supposedly, and at the end of the movie, they return to Tatooine. She uses the 2 lightsaber Skywalkers to remake her own, which has a yellow/gold blade.
Okay.
And the pieces of the Skywalker lightsaber that are left over, she buries at the remains of the Lars homestead.
Ugh.
And the movie ends with her standing looking at the twin suns.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So like that wide shot of
I'm gonna be a
her on
mess
Tatooine
if
looking
that's
at the
the
twin
case.
suns.
I'm gonna be a
And
mess.
thinking about that, I literally have chills like running down my body because
Yeah.
no shit, that is the perfect way to end the movie.
Yeah.
So obviously all of these are rumors and are some of them really good ideas
Yeah.
from a Rey standpoint. The stuff with the lightsaber and the stuff with training and the stuff with the flashbacks with Leia, I think all of those are really good. And
Yeah.
ending the movie on Tatooine with the twin suns with
Where this all started.
a similar shot to Luke
Yeah.
contemplating like what he was going to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then Rey contemplating what's happened. Basically,
Right.
that's beautiful.
Oh gosh, like the symmetry of that.
So like those rumors, I am 100% fully on board with.
yeah.
All the lightsaber rumors and some of the arc of Rey, I'm super
Yeah.
on board with. The stuff with Palpatine, not as much,
Yeah.
because I don't think she has to be that involved with Palpatine. But the stuff that's floating around with Rey's personal story without Palpatine, I really like.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like a lot. But there's still that rumor that somehow she takes up the mantle of Skywalker as a name, because it's a, I don't know, a name.
It's now
it's a legend. It's a myth. It's that
right. It's
name
now
that
like an
has-
ideology.
It's that name that gives hope.
Yeah.
So supposedly she takes up the mantle of Skywalker.
It's not a Jedi. It's not a Sith. It's an ideology like that, but it's different.
But I really don't want her to be Rey Skywalker by any means, even if it's a mantle.
Skywalker Rey. I don't know.
So I don't
She's a
know how I
Skywalker knight.
feel about that.
Yeah, I don't
So I
know.
mean, that's where people still go with the title, right? It's called The Rise of Skywalker. Is that the redemption of Ben, or is it the rise of Skywalker as hope?
yeah.
And Rey takes on that name as a thing of hope. I don't, who knows?
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but so there's a lot of rumors that keep floating around pretty consistently. The ones with Rey and the ones with Leia and the lightsaber stuff, I really like a lot.
Yeah.
And oh man, the movie's less than 100 days. And some of that stuff, like just thinking about it, like I'm ready to cry.
You're preparing it.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saving my juice.
Wow.
Storing it up like George Lucas.
We'll know where your juice is going to go.
You always know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Our juice is ready to go. We're ready to give you our juice.
Star
100
Wars.
days. Yeah.
100 days, our juice is stored.
Yep.
Well, I think that's enough.
Speaking of juice, follow us on Twitter. We have plenty of juice there for you to enjoy.
With our new Twitter handle at,
Hokey Podcast.
I forgot already.
Yep.
Thank you.
We've said the other one like 90 something times.
Yep. At Hokey Podcast. We added the word podcast in there, so maybe people will think we're actually a podcast and listen to us.
Yes. Please. And we have 3 more followers because of it.
You can go on that Twitter and see the handful of photos I took from Galaxy's Edge to see how just ridiculous it is,
Yep.
because it just looks awesome. Despite all of the people that are wearing normal clothes, everything else looks amazing, and it's really easy to not pay attention to them. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube if you have to listen to things there for some reason. You can, if you really enjoy the show, go to patreon.com/hokey religion. You can give us money as you deem appropriate.
$1.
At the very least, $1 to help support the show, to help us recoup costs of providing this entertainment to you with such things as The Backwards Man and George's Juice.
It's entered the halls of, of legends now.
George's Juice is canon. If you have
Where
not,
did his juice go? We need a t-shirt.
where
that
is
says
George's
that.
Juice?
We need a t-shirt that says that. Where's George's juice?
I will have to come up with something for that.
And
It just has a
Hokey
picture of a
religion.
waddle. It's just like a waddle neck. George's beard with a waddle, and then it just says, "Where's George's juice?" If you haven't already, go to iTunes or whatever place allows reviews of some sort to give us various stars and/or I don't know what other review icons are used. And
Yes, the review icon. Give us one review icon.
give us multiple stars and/or waddles. I don't know what
We've
other.
talked about Yelp before. Review us on Yelp.
We need to create a Yelp business. But yeah, if you haven't, that helps people find the show, and it's just so that you don't have to admit to anyone that you actually like us in person. Otherwise, I think that's it, Michael.
I think
No,
it
it's not. You can email us at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com.
I can.
I tricked you.
I can. I'm tricked. I've been tricked. I can email it. You can email it.
We can all email us.
The royal we.
Everyone
You.
can email us. Please do so.
The royal family.
Tell us what you think about the rumors we were talking about, because some of them sound ridiculous, like Rey clone Sith troopers, and some of them sound really cool, like Leia and Luke training. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hit us up on Twitter or email with your thoughts. Otherwise, Michael, that truly is all of it.
Mm.
Do you have anything else?
Do I have any tricks?
Do you have any tricks?
No. Not today.
Good. That is it for episode 102 of Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster at your side.